Did you know that our posture is the functioning framework for our whole bodies? Having good posture makes it so that we can breathe well. Today we're going to discuss how posture is the link to so many issues around prevention and the successful management of osteoporosis, as well as how proper posture can help to reduce pain. I'm Sarah, and I am so glad that you're here to join me on the journey to better bone health. I'm a 500-hour trained yoga instructor with additional training that's specific to osteoporosis and yoga, and I'm also BoneFit certified. Additionally, I'm a certified nutritional health coach. If you'd like to know more about the programs that I offer to help people improve their bone health for the long term, check out the link in the description. Let's get started. Probably most of us know that what we're supposed to do with posture, but it can be difficult to maintain good posture. Often this is because we've developed poor posture over many years. As a little girl, I remember sitting in my first grade classroom with a rounded spine on the floor while my teacher read a chapter of a story to us each day. It was kind of comfortable to sit in this relaxed position at that age. I also remember my mom trying to get me to sit up straight, and I never listened to her. I didn't understand why it was important, and I didn't enjoy sitting up straight. Recently, I came across a medical journal article that entertained me but seemed rather short-sighted. It addressed the issue of poor posture and how children, like myself in first grade, are told that having poor posture leads to back problems later. The article explained how poor posture doesn't cause things like osteoporosis or scoliosis. That is absolutely true. Poor posture doesn't cause either of these issues. But what is significant is that once you have osteoporosis, having poor posture can cause compression or wedge fractures. It can also make a small already existing compression fracture worse. Having a kyphotic form of posture can put pressure on the lungs and make it difficult to breathe fully and efficiently. How you move in your daily life is just as important as the exercises that you choose when you have a compression or wedge fracture in your spine. Compression or wedge fractures can get worse depending on how we care for ourselves. So even if you have a fracture that's only 20% compressed, it has the potential to get worse, which makes learning to be mindful in our movements essential to daily living. Make sure that you don't do anything that causes your spine to come into a rounded shape, because this particular movement can make your compression fracture worse. When you're sitting, do not slouch. Sit up tall, like an elegant Victorian lady. With osteoporosis in general, it's important to do something called sparing the spine. If you happen to have a compression or a wedge fracture that's trying to heal, it's not just a nice idea, it is essential. Sparing the spine refers to avoiding doing things that cause you to come into that rounded shape with your spine. So let's start with a fun example. Say you like having beautifully painted toenails. To spare your spine and have beautifully painted toenails, this will mean that you have to get somebody else to do the toenail painting. You might ask a friend or a spouse to do the honors, or perhaps find a nice nail salon that you feel comfortable with. There's something rather divine about the foot massage that comes with having a pedicure at the nail salon. I'm all about this option if you have a good one to go to. But what about more serious things, like cleaning around your house or lifting things in and out of the oven? What about simply tying your shoes? Since we were already talking about feet, let's go back to the shoe tying. Certainly there's the option to move into slip-on shoes. How does that work when you want or need to exercise? Will the slip-on stay put? We need to be able to exercise to provide good stress for our bones, right? So in looking at my good friend Amazon, where I spend far too much of my time, there are several no-tie shoelace options. Some have elastic and others have a lock lace option. I personally prefer the lock lace option, but check them out on Amazon, see what you think. These can be combined with the use of a long shoehorn to avoid having to round your spine to tie your shoes. And if you happen to have more mobility and you can bend from the hip while keeping your spine straight, then there are other options. You could lift a leg up and cross it over your knee to tie your shoe, or you could bring one knee down and fold from the hip. Increasing flexibility and mobility to improve the ease of doing daily tasks like tying your shoes and picking things up is something that we work on in both the Bone Builder course and the monthly membership if you're interested. So what about lifting things out of the oven or bending over to pick something up off the floor? There are a couple of methods that you can use to do these tasks. There's the golfer method and the squat method. There's also the possibility of coming into a variation where you have one knee down and one foot on the floor using a pad underneath your knee. The important takeaway here is that it's important to be mindful of your movements and to work to spare your spine as much as possible. If we have compression or wedge fractures, it's not optional, but it is extremely important to spare your spine as you go about doing your daily tasks. When we first start working on improving our posture, our bodies likely do not have the muscle strength to hold and maintain good posture for an extended period of time. When I first started working on improving my posture, I got tired. It was difficult and I wanted to give up rather quickly. It's important to keep working on it, and over time your postural muscles will strengthen. They will gradually become more comfortable and you'll be able to hold yourself in good posture. So don't give up. Be patient with yourself. It takes time and regular effort to build strength. So let's pretend that my two fists represent two vertebrae. When the vertebrae are equal, then the stress is evenly distributed and they provide the best support for our spines. When we round forward, we're regularly putting stress on just part of the vertebrae. Our vertebrae have a hard outer layer, but on the inside they have a soft spongy layer. This layer on the inside is referred to as either trabecular or soft spongy bone. So here are two sponges that represent the spongy bone. This one is more dense. It doesn't have very many holes. This would represent what bone looks like, the trabecular spongy bone, what it would look like with healthy bone that does not have osteoporosis. This sponge, you can see it has more holes, bigger gaps. This is going to be more like what the trabecular bone looks like once a person has osteoporosis. We have this kind of bone. Our spines, our vertebrae are not able to support it well, and so they end up creating larger gaps, little cracks, tiny little fissures, micro breaks. And then eventually what happens when we come into this rounded shape is that it reaches the outer harder layer and we get a small crack in the spine. And this is what we have for a compression or a wedge fracture. So that's why it's so important that we are mindful about the movements that we have in our spines. If our posture does not improve, the crack can deepen and become bigger. This leads to developing kyphotic posture over time. The kyphotic posture can put pressure on our lungs and slowly over time lead to pulmonary complications. If we work to strengthen our postural muscles, we gradually create length and improve our situations. In the Bone Builder course and monthly membership, we work on strengthening our postural muscles, including our extensor muscles, our core and glute muscles, and the other muscles in our backs. I believe that it's worth the commitment and effort that it takes to improve our posture. So now, I want to encourage you to do something to improve your posture. Find 3 ways that you're going to be mindful about your own posture. And then if you're comfortable, share that in the comments. Share with me what you're going to do to improve your posture. You are worth the effort. Please be mindful. Please figure out how you're going to improve your posture. So improving your posture will also help you to breathe better and to reduce your risk of osteoporotic fracture, and it will help to reduce general back pain. So I hope that you have found this video helpful. This is a wrap for me today. If you did find this video helpful, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more helpful information about how you can improve your bone health. Talk soon.